6 wide receivers who will carry you to the playoffs in your 2025 Fantasy Football League. We're starting out with Drake London. In average drafts, you can get him around wide receiver 9. London broke out last year with 100 catches, 1,271 yards, and 9 touchdowns, but that wasn't the half of it. Drake London was a player who came on late last season. In the last 6 games, London averaged 94 yards and 11 targets. But if we narrow it further to the 3 Michael Penix games, we saw even better production from London. 13 targets a game, 117 yards, and 2/3 of a touchdown. Drake London was a high first-round pick of the Falcons a few years ago. We know he's a big receiver who can win in all areas of the field. We know Michael Penix will hyper-target him. Drake London will carry you to your fantasy playoffs. Next one, Garret Wilson, getting him around the average wide receiver 15. Garret Wilson every year, he gets you between 147 and 168 targets, 83 to 101 catches, 1,040 to 1,100 yards. Money. Not a huge ceiling, but maybe this year there is. Yes, the quarterback will be Justin Fields. And yes, many people are not excited about Justin Fields. However, remember this. In Chicago in 2023, Justin Fields played 15 games. Make that 13 games. In those 13 games, DJ Moore, 1,360 yards and 8 touchdowns. Justin Fields, fed an alpha receiver to a huge season. Garret Wilson, ultra talented player. We could see that level of production. Take your bet on Garret Wilson. He is great after the catch. He can line up all over the formation. This team, the New York Jets, they have no reliable wide receiver 2. Josh Reynolds, not going to happen there. Allen Lazard, things are not working out there. Garret Wilson can see all the work he can handle. If you're enjoying this breakdown, take a second to hit like and subscribe. It helps us keep the fantasy advice coming. And if you want even more of RotoWire's tools, rankings, and insights, we have a 15% discount just for our YouTube viewers. Head to rotowire.com, choose your subscription, and use the code YouTube15 at checkout. All right, Chris Godwin is our next wide receiver. You could get him around wide receiver 30 in drafts. Now, he dislocated his ankle last year, but I mean, in terms of injuries, it wasn't an ACL he's coming back from. The team expects him back to start the season, and that is a huge positive. But remember, Chris Godwin was getting 8 to 13 targets and at least 64 yards in 6 of 7 games last year. His average Chris Godwin's in those 7 games. He averaged 7 catches, 82 yards, and 7/10 of a touchdown. He was on easily a top 15 wide receiver pace. He was seeing more work than Mike Evans. Now, I know Liam Cohen, the coach, is gone. I understand. But Baker Mayfield has always had a great rapport with slot receivers. And I expect Godwin to be in the slot a lot. But that slot receiver with Baker Mayfield goes back to the Jarvis Landry days when Landry was averaging 990 yards when the duo was healthy. Chris Godwin is a superstar player. He can win on the outside. He can win in the middle of the field. And he will be a very important part, especially after Tampa signed him to that free agent contract to bring him back into town. George Pickens is next. You can get George Pickens right around wide receiver 30 in average drafts. Now, George Pickens hasn't had the great season yet, but remember, he was in a Pittsburgh offense that was very, very basic, very run heavy, and very quarterback challenged. Well, in Dallas, George Pickens will not have those issues. Dak Prescott can definitely sling the football. Remember, Michael Gallup a number of years back, that 1,200-yard season, Pickens will play a similar role. CD Lamb's there, and you have Jake Ferguson. But George Pickens, he can win downfield. He can win on slants. Very physical, very fast receiver, and he is going to be in a spot in Dallas where Dallas probably won't be able to run the football really well, and that means Dak Prescott is going to have to throw, and that is music to George Pickens' ears. Next one, Calvin Ridley, Tennessee Titans. Now, Calvin Ridley, very, very interesting player. 2 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Nobody really talks about that. But Calvin Ridley is now he's creeping up ADP. He's about the wide receiver 36 in average reps, but he could be even better this year because last year, Will Levis, Mason Rudolph, not so good. Cam Ward, first overall pick in the draft. That should be an upgrade. Calvin Ridley, remember, from weeks 8 through 18 with Tennessee, he was averaging 76 yards and 4.7 catches. that could increase with Cam Ward. And I expect the Tennessee offensive line to be a little bit better, which means Ridley can get downfield a bit more. But Calvin Ridley, what a great player to target who can carry to your fantasy football playoffs.